Hey guys, my name is Summer. I work for the Mobilization team here at The Journey. And I think the last couple of weeks, I have really just started personally contemplating ideas and events of racial injustice, both in our country and personally, probably for the first time, really seriously. I ordered a book called Be the Bridge by Latasha Morrison, and she's primarily writing to white people, and just how to, her first couple chapters that I've read are talking about how to lament and even own the past sins of your ancestors and of just the white community at large. And how to kind of do like the prophets did in the Bible, Ezra, Daniel, as they weren't personally sinning, but they grieved and lamented and then even asked for change and God to spare the people. So they kind of did that on behalf of them. And really am just starting the process, but I think just taking a personal inventory of people in my life that have influenced who I am today and the voices that have been loudest. And I don't think, I can only think of one African American voice in my almost 30 years now that has been, or I've allowed to be impactful. I think the last 2 years since moving to St. Louis, I've interacted with more an acquaintance and friendship with more African American people than probably my whole life combined. This one person was my softball coach. He was an African American man in a very, very white North Dallas Christian school, and he was probably one of my greatest mentors and advocates. And I reached out to him 2 nights ago and just texted him and just apologized and for not ever thinking about the fact that that must have been really hard for him to be the only Black person in every room, every assembly. Him and his wife are the only Black people that Adam and I invited to our wedding. And I was supposed to get a call with him tonight, but it didn't happen, so I'm hoping to tomorrow. And just told him that I wanted to hear his story of how race had affected him and his family and his marriage and his kids. And just asked him if he would share that with me, and apologize that I had never asked that before and never even thought to ask before. I've gotten to have a conversation with my mom about race and just growing up in all-white high school outside of a large city in Texas, and how African Americans just weren't in their town, and talking to her about why she thought that was, and reading her the St. Louis Public Radio history of race in St. Louis, just housing segregation and school segregation, and how these things really are just in the last 10 years. It's not something that happened when, my grandparents were born, and it's no longer that the things that are coming out in the news now, just talking to my mom, that they're current, they're not things of the past. And I think just reading and learning more about the history of race in St. Louis, but also in the US, has just given me the tools to run to Jesus and confess for all the years that I haven't thought about these things. I've scrolled past it on social media, or thought oh, that other white friend that has more Black friends than me, they'll enter in, but I don't know how. I don't have any close African American friends, so I can get by. I don't need to think about it. That's just not the case. And the Lord has blessed me with African American friends here, and I pray that He'll bless me with many more. And just really grateful that we as a church and we as Christians are not staying silent and not shying away from the shame and the guilt that we personally may feel or feel on behalf of people that have come before us in the white community. And just really grateful that, yeah, we can be honest and know that Christ, his blood covers all sin, past, present, and future. And I just pray that African Americans in St. Louis specifically and the journey just know that their pain is important and their stories matter, and we want to hear them.